More than us, apparently.
Apparently.
Wow. Okay, it's recording right now. So I know I hit the record button. So for those of you that get some great notes and or want to replay and watch this, you can watch it again on our Facebook page. I'm sorry, our YouTube page, on our YouTube channel. So that is where it's going to live. It's going to live on our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's what we got going. So by the way, just so you guys know, we do have an Instagram. If you're not following us, please make sure you do. I believe it's LV Wedding Chamber. I don't have my phone in front of me, but we do have an Instagram. We also have a Facebook members page. I hope you guys go there. I don't see a lot of people participating in that. So please make sure you do. It's where you can post your news, any promotions that you guys are running, if you're in the press, anything like that, anything you want to share with the group, please make sure that you take advantage and check out the members only Facebook page, because we encourage you to do that. Also, a quick announcement, just want to let you guys know that the Neon Boneyard experience has been moved to Monday. So it's going to be Monday, February 1st. That is going to be that's our next event. It is a members only event. So please, if you have not RSVP'd, I know we were pushing 25. So that's what the Neon Boneyard allowed us because of COVID and social distancing. We are only allowed 25 people. So please double check, see if you could still get on it. Iris will maybe let me know a little bit later on, but I know we were pushing 25 on Monday. Maybe some people dropped out. So if you do want to participate, just reach out to us and we'll double check because maybe somebody who RSVP'd for this past Monday might not be able to make it on February 1st. So I don't want to turn anybody away. Let's just see if we can make something happen, but it's absolutely free, no charge. You're going to see Brilliant, the light show that the Neon Museum has just put in, and we're going to get our own personal tour. We got our own personal tour guide that's going to walk us through all the exhibits. If you've never been to the Neon Boneyard, you definitely need to check it out. So that is happening on Monday, and all the details are on our website. Great. I'm going to turn it over to Jason real quick because I am Jody Harris, your past president, and Jason Whaley from Smash Booth, he is your current president. So make some noise, like give me this. That's how we're going to applaud today. That's our applause. So, give me one of these for the applause, and I'm going to turn it over to Jason.
I appreciate the turnover. I don't know that there's really much more to cover than what you've already addressed. I'm really just looking forward to getting Amy started if she's ready.
Yep, I'm as ready as I will be.
Cool.
All right.
So you should be able to share your screen, Amy.
Great. Let me.
And make sure everybody's muted, okay? Make sure all our participants are muted. So if you have dogs barking in the background or anything like that, we don't hear it.
Let me try and turn on this. Okay. So hi, everybody. I am Amy Stevens, and you are at the Wedding Chamber's How to Get Free Press webinar. I am with PR Plus, and this has been sponsored by the Office of the County Clerk. So just want to give a little bit about myself and my company. PR Plus is a boutique public relations and marketing agency in Las Vegas. Oh my gosh, for nearly 30 years. We'll be 30 in April, not 20. So that was a misprint on my part. We handle a variety of clients from food and beverage to entertainment, hospitality, business services, and more, also including wedding industry. So we work with the Office of the County Clerk, and we work with the Wedding Chamber of Commerce. And our services include anything from traditional public relations, marketing consultation, email marketing, speech writing, press releases, social media marketing, a whole lot more. You can find out more about us and all of our services on our website. It's prpluslv, like Las Vegas, .com. So a really fun fact about us, there's 5 of us in our office and 3 of us are born and raised here. So, You don't see a lot of that in Las Vegas, but we are Vegas all the way. So me, Amy Stevens, I am the Director of Brand Awareness for PR Plus. So in that, one of my clients is the Clark County Marriage License Bureau, and I get to work with them and the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce as part of that. I have more than 15 years experience in public relations and marketing. And my previous experience with weddings specifically includes with Vegas Weddings and Chapel of Flowers. I was the marketing director for both of those companies for a couple years. And I was with Station Casinos doing public relations and social media for another couple of years. And then prior, while I was at Vegas Weddings, I was also the communications chair for the wedding chamber for the first 2 years when we first launched. So very familiar with you guys and excited to be working with you all again. If I am speaking too quickly, just let me know and I can slow down. So just a quick overview on media. So this webinar is all about public relations and media. So the media that we're always working with is print. When you're doing an article for print, it's going to be more in depth. It's changed a bit during COVID, but generally the reporter you're working with is specialized in that industry or sector. So they'll know more about weddings or things like that, or know about the business industry. And then you're going to have more space to tell your story. So always really good. Why I mentioned COVID is because it's affected, as you all have been affected, it's affected reporters. So at one point we were working with the TV critic on a wedding story in the past year. So everybody's covering different things these days, and it's a bit of a hodgepodge. But you can always look and see who covers what if you know who to work out for. You can read articles to see what sort of coverage they give to things. TV obviously is more visual. They have much larger audiences. The reporters, the anchors are going to be less educated on what you're talking about, and the segments are shorter. So a long TV segment is going to be 3 minutes, but they can go anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes in a segment. So always keep that in mind when you're working with TV is sound bites, and we'll get more into that down the line. Then we have online and blogs. Also, again, more visual. We're weddings, so anytime we have great visuals, this even applies to print. You always want to offer it. So people want to see happy people getting married. And print, I'm going to backtrack a little. Print these days is also going a lot more towards the online space. A lot of print publications have closed. They're focused more on online, as that's the wave of the world these days. So always think about if you have video photos that you can give to people. But online and blogs, they're visual. A lot of times it's about the couple, and they're going to be more detail oriented. And then podcasts and radio, those vary by show format. So sometimes it can be really in-depth, similar to print. You're going to get that more with a podcast, where a radio show is going to be more short, but it's giving you your expert opinion. And showcasing you guys as an expert is always something that's really, really key. Okay. So here's just a couple examples of some free press we've gotten for the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber members in the past several months. So most recently on January 3rd, the New York Times ran a photo essay detailing Vegas chapels are open and waiting. They're ready. It was an amazing piece. The photographer was out here right around Thanksgiving, and we worked with them to get chamber members involved, and then also to push this to later down the line to where it ran on a Sunday in January, which, hello, booking season, right? It's a full page article, a full page in the Sunday edition. And it's beautiful. As you see all these amazing wedding photos, they talk about it being Vegas can handle everything from luxury to Rococo weddings. They show different kinds of chapels. And one of the things too is when you see something like the New York Times, media begets media. So you have the New York Times here, the Sunday edition. I mean, personally, this is something I'm very proud of, the Sunday edition of the New York Times. It's a big deal. And you're going to see other media then thinking about Las Vegas because they're all reading it and talking about it. In fact, the Las Vegas Sun did a big wedding feature recently, and they even quoted Melody Williams from Vegas Weddings in it. So they quoted her New York Times quote. So you see that one media outlet is begetting another media outlet. And we were able to get, I think, 5 different wedding chamber members involved in this piece. The other one here is brides. And this was everything you need to know about getting married in Vegas. And we got this to where, here's the actual feature. It highlighted the majority of the people highlighted in here are wedding chamber members. So we start with the Love Story Wedding Chapel. We have the Clark County Marriage License Bureau. Let's see. Jody here is quoted in it, as well as the Wedding Chamber, the Neon Boneyard. It goes down the line in places and quoting our different folks. I know Married in Vegas is in here, I believe, as somebody that's quoted. So I think we had 4, I think Rodney from the Mob Museum's in here. We had 4, I think, people featured in this amazing article all about Las Vegas in getting married here on brides. So, and the beautiful, one of the things to know, which we sent this to everybody that was featured in this, same with the folks that were featured in the New York Times issue, but social media, as we all know, is so important these days. And it's that important as well for our media folks. So every time that you see, if you're featured in the media, tweet it out, tag that reporter, let them know, share it on Instagram, find out their Instagram handle, thank them that way. Like, amazing feature by @RosieBell in brides.com. You weren't sure what to know about getting married in Vegas. Here's how you know. Like, anytime you do that, that's going to get them more follows, and it's going to get them more inclined to want to talk to you again. That one of the big goals when we're working with media is that we want them to work with us again. So when I work with media, I want to be their one-stop shop. I want to make everything as easy for them, so they'll want to, the next time they're doing something on Las Vegas, or the next time they're doing something on weddings, they're going to want to come to me and talk to me because they know, hey, Amy has this resource of all of these different amazing kinds of vendors, and she's going to get me in touch with them quickly. She's going to get me the interview set up, and she's going to get me the photos I need, and just make it super easy. I don't need to do a ton of work other than my interview and writing the article. That's what you want. You want to be as accommodating as possible and making it easy for the media person to work with you. And here's the other really great thing about PR is that, and I can't stop going back to the New York Times, because again, I'm very proud of this article, as everyone that was featured in it should be, and actually as everybody in the local wedding industry should be, because it is a beautiful feature on us. And whether or not you're featured in it, your industry is, and it has people looking at weddings in Las Vegas. And to me, that is a win. So this article in the Sunday New York Times a full page ad in the Sunday New York Times is valued at anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000. We have an article here, and I'm going to get more into this in a second, but in the world of PR, it depends on what publicist you're talking about, but they're going to say the PR value is 3 to 7 times more valuable than than SE or than an ad. Okay, sorry. I don't know if I need to keep looking at these chats or what, or if you're seeing them. I've not led a webinar before. We do quarterly meetings with the LVCVA. They manage the overall weddings in Las Vegas marketing. They get from that stipend from the $7. When Lynn first took office, she got that $7 rate, or $14, pardon me, that was raised in the marriage license, the cost of the marriage license, to go to wedding marketing. And the majority of that goes to the LVCVA. And so they use that money. And when they were putting together one of their quarterly updates for us, there was this huge spike in September to their wedding webpage. I'm sure to anybody who was featured in here's website. And that was because of this bride's article. So there's ways you can see how these things work when you're tracking it. I'm sure anybody with Google Analytics will see those spikes around those times as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, so some of the benefits of public relations. Public relations is free. It's earned media. So while you are paying, this goes back to what I was saying, the value of that New York Times piece could be $250,000 for an ad that ran in it, right? Well, this is free media that we secured, right? You're just giving your time, and it's based on our relationships and how we work, but it's the beauty of it. There's several things. It's going to drive your business. It's going to promote you. It's going to hype you up. It helps protect your company's reputation. You know, you can use this to diffuse situations, to show your history of being in the media and how your business works. One of the really big things is that it validates you as an expert in your field. And then it promotes weddings in Las Vegas as a whole, which is something that we all want, right? We are the wedding capital of the world. Let's stay there. So the more we can get our name out there, the better. I do want to go back to this validating you as an expert in your field. We'll come back to that as we go to some other slides. So just always keep that in mind. But then also it's more credible and valuable than an ad. So the reason it's more credible is you're having that third-party validation. While somebody is paying for that ad to go there and they're designing it and they're getting across the exact message that they want, and that's not always entirely possible with PR, because whatever you say, a snippet of that can be taken and that goes into the ad. But you're having this reporter, this trusted source, because somebody who reads the New York Times, who watches Fox 5, everybody loves Jason Feinberg, right? You're watching Fox 5. So when Jason is talking about your venue or your photography services, you're like, oh my gosh, somebody else who loves Jason is going to keep that in mind for the next time they want something. So it's that third-party validation. They're paid to be on TV, but they're not getting paid by us to talk about you. And that's why when I said PR is 3 to 7 times more valuable than an ad, that's why. It's that third-party validation. Also, the more in-depth pieces. So going back to a TV segment, you're going to have an ad. A long ad is 60 seconds. Generally, a commercial break, it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, right? Well, you're getting anywhere from a 30-second to a 3-minute segment talking about you. That's more in depth. And not only is it more valuable that way, but in today's world with DVR, people are fast forwarding through it. People will pause it and come back. You know, you're on what they're watching, right? Or what they're reading. People will just browse through a magazine and look past the ads potentially, but they're going to read the articles. So public relations is just that much more valuable in that regard as well. Okay, here we are. Now that you know more about press and why it's so important, how to get free press. That's why we're all here, right? So we send out media opportunities from the chamber. I would say probably 1 to 2 a month is what it's averaged. The goal to getting in those is to respond, and to respond immediately, as soon as possible. As you're responding, pay attention to what it's asking for and respond accordingly and with detail. Now, I say with detail, but also bullet points are great. If you keep in mind, you guys are responding to me, and then I'm responding to this media person with everybody who's responded, they want to be able to glance at something really quickly and say, why is this person so, why do I want to talk to this person, right? What are they giving me? And then, but also highlight, what do you offer that's unique? What are your thoughts? How can you help this media person and make their job easier? So I saw somebody with Married in Vegas is on here. They have been so fantastic since we've started sending out these opportunities and are always really quick to respond. And one of the things that they always mention in their responses, we are a Black-owned, women-owned business. Okay. People love diversity in your couples, diversity in your business. That's not what only that's going to get you the press, but it's going to be something that's going to want people to talk about you more. Also, me knowing this, if I see somebody looking for a Black-owned or a woman-owned business, I'm going to be like, oh, hey, Married in Vegas, because they always have that as part of their talking points. And that's fantastic. And so when I get those one-off opportunities as well, they're going to be in my mind in that regard. And again, respond. You can't get coverage if we don't know you're there. So if it's a quick turnaround, or ask questions. Are you sure? Are you not sure that this responds to you? If the query said wedding planners, but I'm a wedding chapel, you know, but my chapel has planners. I know trends. I know these different things. So maybe I might not be exactly what the media opportunity specified, but I do know these things, so I'm going to respond anyway. Or I'll see if I can respond and ask Amy, this is what I think they're looking for. So would this work? One of the things that I love to pitch is what I call some hot sidebar action. So there might be a story and it's all about these 5 things. Well, I have something that's not related to these 5 things, but it kind of is the opposite. So I'm going to say, hey, or one thing plays off another. So I'm going to say, hey, here's an option. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We recently were working on a New Year's Eve story. The reporter was doing a piece on businesses that are so used to working every New Year's Eve, and now because of the pandemic, they don't have anything. Well, at the time he first started working on that, it wasn't decided if the strip was going to be closed or not. So while I pitched him on our clients that made sense for what his story was, I also said, you know, if the strip doesn't open, that adds a world of help to just the wedding chapels alone, who are always having clients when they normally offer limo services, right? But they can't make it to certain places. Now couples can get a limo. So while in some places it's harder, in other places it might be better. The strip did close, that sidebar didn't work, but it's just always thinking about those things. So if you read something, it doesn't make sense, but you think maybe this sidebar of it would work, email it to me. I'm always happy to read your queries or your thoughts. The goal of all of this is to gain coverage for your business, right? So that is the immediate goal that's going to happen from you responding to something. The other is to have couples thinking about weddings with you or weddings in Las Vegas in general, because more weddings coming to Vegas are going to be more opportunities for you as well. And it's always be interesting, be insightful, be easy to work with, so the media person will want to speak with you again. Those are what we want to give when we do these opportunities. And again, I've mentioned, I don't know if I have it later in here or not, but about being the expert. So sometimes a media query will say, we're talking about, well, I'm trying to think of one. Not the New York Times photo essay, but we're talking about, I'm pulling a blank, but whatever the XYZ is we're talking about. And you're like, well, this isn't going to highlight my venue. This isn't going to showcase the amazing things that we offer. but no, it's going to have you as an expert. So and anytime you're interviewed, it's going to say Amy Stevens from PR Plus said blah, blah, blah. And so then there you're getting your name out there more. Again, you're featured in this press. This is something you can put on your website, as featured in brides.com, as featured in the New York Times, right? These are things that are giving you more validation as an expert. So even if you're just quoted in something and it's not necessarily talking about the beauty of your venue or the amazing photography skills you have and showcasing your photos, although that wouldn't make sense, but it's still quoting you, and that's validating you as an expert, and that is always so important. And again, media begets media. So somebody might see that and be working on another piece and they're like, oh, I like what they said here. Let me reach out to them and see what their photography is like. What is their venue like? So always keep that in mind. It might not always seem like it's going to help you, but in the end it will. And even if you're just quoted, you could say, as seen in the Review Journal, whatever it is. So here is an example of one of the emails that we do send out. So this was the New York Times one. So it was right around Thanksgiving. It was sent out on November 27th. So the subject of it was New York Times photo op from the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce. Please, please, please make sure that you have the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber added to your safe senders or whatever it's called these days, that you get our emails, right? Make sure you get those. Make sure you're reading the newsletters. Make sure you're checking these as soon as they come out. As you can see, this is just my inbox here. We have a Generation Tux blog opportunity. We had a KLUC toy drive. We had an opportunity for shefinds.com, New York Times. So this is all in November and December, right? And I don't even have the whole thing here. Okay, so this is the media. So now I'm going to read the media opportunity that was sent out. We've highlighted that it's national media and that it's a photo opportunity. And it's, first of all, it's for downtown or the Strip for a profile. So you're like, oh, well, I do more of weddings at Red Rock, so maybe I wouldn't be a fit. You know what? Keep reading just in time, just in case, okay? Because it turns out this photographer was rock climbing when he was here. So while he wanted to focus on downtown or Strip weddings, maybe if you do Red Rock weddings, he might have been willing to bring his camera along on one of his hikes and come shoot that. We don't know. So again, don't always, just because we put in here what he asks for, doesn't mean that you always might not fit. But if it's completely off the wall, then save ourselves both sometime. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so the New York Times is doing a story on how wedding chapels are surviving amidst the pandemic and looking to do a photo essay where the New York Times photographer will shadow another photographer as they go on their photo shoot throughout the Strip or downtown. If the couple's open to having their wedding photographed as well, that would be considered. Here's the details. He prefers to shoot a couple from out of state. Shoot would need to take place over the next 2 days. And then here, email us if you have a couple interested in participating and the photos shoot is taking place over the next 2 days. Email with the location, date, and time where the couple is from. So don't email me like, hey, I have 5 weddings taking place and we'd be happy to have you for any of them. I'm so glad you have 5 weddings taking place. Do you have a couple interested? What time is that wedding? Where are they from? Right? Look at the questions that are asked and respond to those. And then email it with it. So, I'm going to backtrack. So here's a sample response to that particular one. So in the subject line, please put New York Times photo op. That way I know that's what you're responding to, because I know this needs to take place over the next 2 days. So I'm going to put precedent on this over some of my other emails, especially if we've not emailed before. I might not know what it's for. Sometimes we have more than one media opportunity at a time. This helps me to organize it. So please help me that way and put what your subject is. I have a couple getting married with me on January 27th at the PR Plus headquarters in Amy's office at 5 p.m. The wedding starts promptly, so I recommend the photographer arrive at 4:45. Okay. I highlighted in blue the 3 things I asked for: the date, the location, and I didn't highlight, and the time of the wedding is 5 p.m. Right? And then I say they're from Orange County and they're super excited to be getting married. If he has a specific couple getting married with me in my office at 5, right? That's fantastic. But in addition to that, because say some wedding chapels have more than one venue, I'm going to be super specific and I'm going to say it's in Amy's office, because that's going to let me know, ooh, Amy's office looks a lot different from Alyssa's office, right? So here's what that vibe might capture. They're from Orange County. To me, this also tells me they're from our drive market, which has been really specific here. So in my mind, as I'm reading these things, I might have other overall goals for what we want to get out. Our biggest market, especially during COVID, has been the drive market. So this is a fantastic example of what we're looking for right here. But then I'm going to add some fluff. I didn't ask for this in my email query that I sent to you guys, but this person decided to say, Derek and John were originally planning a large wedding and reception back home, but decided to have a small wedding with just a few family and friends here in Las Vegas instead. They're planning a backyard reception once everyone can get together safely. John's grandma is tuning in from her home in Cleveland so she can be part of it. This tells me some other fun things. Derek and John. Okay, we have a same-sex couple that's getting featured. So as I'm putting together everybody's queries, I can mix it up. I can have a same-sex couple. I can have an older couple. I can have a younger millennial couple. I don't know. I have so now I know what the venue's like. I know it's at 4:45 is the arrival time instead of 5 o'clock since the wedding starts promptly. Sorry, I'm backtracking again. I do that. But I know same-sex couple, they had a bigger wedding planned, but damn that pandemic, now it's a small wedding in Las Vegas. But thank you, because now we're happy for this small wedding in Vegas. But this is keeping on with the trends. They're now at a micro wedding, right? And another big trend that we're having is grandmas tuning in. We have seen a rise in virtual weddings, live broadcasting, that sort of thing. So these are fun things that I can add when I'm pitching the media person on why they should cover us. Because while the New York Times photojournalist was here, that bride's person was not. So we could have pitched. She got pitches from every Las Vegas publicist and every Las Vegas venue possible, right? So what am I offering that's going to make me stand out from other people, right? So when you send me this, I'm getting some trends, and you don't need if you can think about the trends ahead of time when you're sending me this stuff, fantastic. But if not, just give me a little bit more information and I might pull those things out from you that I can use when highlighting. And then this is the best part. Here's the contacts. Here's the contact. It's Cinderella, and here's the phone number. I can call or text at that number. That makes it so much easier. I can also give that to the photographer. So with this one simple email, I know what time to have the person arrive. I know some fun details about the couple. I know the basic details that were asked, and I know the contact information. It's so easy, and it makes me want to work with you some more. It's going to make them want to work with you some more. So that's something we're always looking for. Again, it's making it easier for the media person. And in this case, you're also helping to make it easier for me. So I would thank you. Okay. Oh, I had backtracked. Okay. So the do's and don'ts in responding. Do respond as soon as possible. Do answer all of the criteria requested, and do check with your couple if applicable. So again, this was a photojournalist with the New York Times was requesting to photograph a couple. So if I'm a venue assigning this, I want to make sure first that the couple is comfortable of whoever I'm reaching out to, right? If they're not comfortable, then we're not going to do this. But also, make sure the photographer, if you're not a photographer yourself that's doing this, that make sure the photographer that's covering it is comfortable. Do not respond just because you're not sure if you're a fit. So email with why you think you may be a fit, but ask any questions if you're not sure. So again, if the email asks for wedding trends, but you're an officiant, not a planner, you still might know the trends, right? If you're in Red Rock and not on the strip or downtown, we still might be able to know that, right? We're trying to, when I send these emails out, I'm trying to put in the very basic info that I need, that you need to know to get it out there, but I might know more about what the article is working on, or the photographer or the reporter. So always feel free to ask. Do not respond just with your about us. Like, PR Plus is the best public relations agency in Las Vegas. We have 5 offices that couples can get married in, and they voted us the best. That does not tell me any of the questions I just asked for in the email, right? I'm glad to know this, but tell me, you can put that at the bottom of your email to me, right? But don't put that as your response expressing your interest, and look at what it's asking for and respond to those. And then don't email interest without, oh, I have that, checking with the couple or answering any of their requested information. And don't always expect to get featured, but don't give up. So I'm not sure, I knew he was considering joining us, but Pastor Pete is so wonderful. I'm sure we all know him. He responds all the time to my queries, and I appreciate it so much. Unfortunately, sometimes it wasn't a fit, or sometimes his didn't get chosen. With the New York Times, he responded to us and let us know about a wedding he was doing at the Mirage. And we were then able to work with the Mirage and the photographer to get that wedding featured. So while the Mirage was in there, Pastor Pete was not, unfortunately. But I was contacted yesterday by a reporter from the Las Vegas Weekly doing a story, knowing Pastor Pete and how everything she is. She wanted to get a quick interview with a reporter, and he's talking to her later this morning. So again, you might not always get featured, but don't give up. And always just let me know. Give me the opportunity to learn more about you, because sometimes I might be working on stories where it's such a quick turnaround that I don't send something out to the group. But if I know somebody that it's applicable to, then we'll do that. Then we'll be able to feature the person that way. Okay. So here's a big one. So now that we've secured this opportunity, how do I talk to the media? I say, prepare, prepare, prepare. Whenever I have a spokesperson duty, I will take a one sheet and I will write out all of my talking points that I want. So I know this is what I want to talk about and I don't miss it. Even if it's a TV interview, I'm going to talk those out and I'm going to practice until that TV interview comes out. Or I'm going to have that one sheet in front of me in front of a radio interview or in front of a print interview. That way I don't miss something that I wanted to talk about. Because how many times have we all been like, oh man, I wish I said that. I forgot to say that. Sometimes we can email those thoughts after the fact. But if it's a TV thing, you're not going to have that. So again, prepare, prepare, prepare. Stay positive. Always have your end goal in mind. Will talking about the pandemic or the downturn deter people or encourage people to get married here? Will a wedding gone wrong make them want to get married with you if they do decide to come here? So this is the thing about Vegas. People love the hangover and they love to talk about the drunk wedding. But as we all know, you can't get married if you're drunk. First stop is at the Clark County Clerk's office. Second stop is with the officiant, right? That's not realistic. So, but people always want to hear about the drunk weddings or the wedding's gone wrong or what was your biggest mistake. So maybe come up with a wedding gone wrong, but how you made it right if they're insistent enough, or just give the answer that you want to answer that doesn't necessarily address that. So they say, oh, tell me your worst wedding story. You know what? Who likes to focus on the worst wedding? Because weddings are all about the best day of your life. So let me tell you our best wedding story. And you just say that instead, right? That's completely okay to do it. And I think it's great. What talking about the downturn, right? Our end goal is to bring people to get married in Las Vegas, to bring people to get married with you. So talk about what is going to encourage them. Yeah, we're in a pandemic. The clerk's office closed for 2 months. You know, it might be the first time ever that it actually closed. And we were doing great right before then, but then this happened. It's COVID. But you know what is amazingly enough is that people are still coming to Las Vegas to get married. They're realizing that it's so much easier to elope. They can make it personal and about them. We're finding couples are so much more less stressed with their wedding here, and then they can use that money to go home and spend it on another reception once everything's great, spend it on a down payment on a house. People, we've actually seen beauty come of all of this, right? Or Las Vegas was built for micro weddings and mini monies. You know, we've been calling it eloping for years, but we were built on this. We already had live broadcasting in our chapels, something that so many people are seeing as they have to have a smaller group here get married. We were already prepared for this. We were ready. So while these things might be bad, or they're taking this angle, you can make it to where it's a positive. And you're in the wedding industry where all people want is beauty, love, and romance. So give them that when you're talking to the media. Pick your top 3. So again, I'm going to have my list of things that I want to talk about to the media, but I'm going to have highlighted, here's the 3 things, sometimes even 2 things, that no matter what, if I get nervous, I don't want to miss these 2 things. I want to let them know that we are open and that you can book with us from 2 years out to 2 days before, right? Whatever, like that's one of my top ones. And I also want to let them know this, that, you know, Las Vegas is prepared. We came up with COVID safety precautions immediately, and the whole wedding industry in Las Vegas has embraced it, and we are doing this safely and with great response from our couples and their guests. And then also keep in mind who you're talking to. If you're print, you can talk longer, but if it's TV, it's talk in sound bites. Give 1 to 2 sentence answers. Keep it short and sweet. One of the things I always tell myself when I'm talking with TV is, if I feel like I'm talking too much, I probably am, so wrap it up. You're having a conversation with the reporter. They're going to help move you along, and they're on a time limit. So keep it short and sweet. Also, if you go on and on and on about something, then they might take not that original soundbite you wanted, but they might take that after effect and edit it to where it doesn't come out the way you wanted it. So keep it short and sweet. Know your sound bites. Practice, practice, practice. And then be interesting. Make them want to talk to you. Make them want to promote you. Don't just give a boring answer, right? Think of like, how can I make this sound more interesting? How can I make them want to come talk to me again? And then the other thing is, have a designated spokesperson. I have had clients where they want us, they think, oh, this person's young and good looking, and they're a frontline server, so I'm going to have you talk to them instead of the GM, right? Because the GM's a little shy and, you know, she might not want to do this. Well, that client, I was media training. I had one client where I was media training every 2 months because frontline servers change over a lot, right? Have your owner, have your marketing person, have some sort of upper management is what I would recommend. Somebody that is knowledgeable about your product, and somebody that you know is going to be staying with you for a long time. If it's not you yourself, the owner, have them be your designated spokesperson. And the other reason for that is not just having that turnover in that, is that people are going to get to know you. They're going to get to see you. They're going to recognize your name over and over. They say sometimes it takes 7 times for somebody to see your business name for them to come back and work with you. So if they see, they're going to say every time Amy Stevens with PR Plus, but if the next time they say Michelle Wilmoth with PR Plus, yes, hopefully they'll remember PR Plus, but they're not going to remember the whole Amy Stevens with PR Plus. You're developing that camaraderie, similar to how we love these anchors on TV, right? We feel like we have a relationship or friendship with them as we watch them. So those sorts of things. And then never ever go off the record. Never be in a conversation with somebody and say, well, off the record, blah, 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 blah. For one, if it doesn't need to be shared on the record, you probably shouldn't share it at all. And unless you have an amazing relationship with that media person, they likely won't be off the record. The way off the record works is that you say it, they agree with it, then you tell them, right? But otherwise, nothing might be off the record. The other thing is, don't mention past media. Oh yeah, we were just featured on brides.com. Now you're interviewing us for The Knot. The Knot doesn't want to know that. They don't want to know that somebody else has spoken with you. Even though media begets media, they want to feel special and exclusive, pardon me. So even locally here, if you were just featured on Channel 13 and now you're interviewing with Channel 5, they don't want to know that, right? The other thing I would recommend is don't use the reporters' names, because maybe you confuse them, and that would never look good. Okay. So here's a great example. We had this RJ opportunity that I talked to you about earlier, where they were doing a story, a New Year's Eve story on people who normally work New Year's Eve but aren't this year. So it was a quicker turnaround. So I reached out to Jody, although it ended up taking a while, reached out to Jody and Jason as two of the people I know that normally would work these days. Jody, the self-proclaimed CEO of Fun, gave a fun interview. Shocker, right? Good job, Jody. She did this interview where the reporter is the music reporter. So he was planning on talking to concert venues and other folks like that, right? She turned this interview, turned it into an opportunity that gave her the front page of this section, gave her the cover. She started the story. Like, she rocked it. This photo is just so badass. I mean, I can't get past it. So give a fun interview, right? You don't always have to set a calendar or things on fire, but, you know, think about it ahead of time. Prepare. So great job, Jody. Jason also, though, interviewed for this, and he was able to link to his website by creating a virtual photo booth. So in the online version, and as I said, print media is gearing more and more towards their online content. He created a virtual photo booth that people could use for New Year's Eve. So while the photo booth was free to use, they were going to his website. So he turned this in a way for people to then go to his website more than that. So always think about in advance how you can maximize this. And great job to both Jody and Jason on this article. So press kit and supporting documents. What is it and what is it for? So a press kit, sometimes we will ask you for that. A media person might be that. What is it? It's a personal or a company bio. Sometimes it's both. This is where you have your about us, and then you have your personal info as well. You have any press releases written, media alerts, any sort of those things. And then you also have a link to any photo assets. I will get to these questions at the end. So this is where you put all of that information. You're always happy if you want to put together an online version where you create a Dropbox document or something like that, and send it to me. I'm happy to look at it for you. This is one of the services that we offer to our members. So what is a press kit for? It's available resources to provide media with curated information on your company. So this is where you give them all the information with what you want them to know about you. But keep in mind that this is editorial. So you're not advertising. So you're not saying we're the best of this, we're this. You could say we were awarded these awards from The Notch or Wedding Wire, but don't focus on being it more informational and not promotional. You're giving them documents and verbiage that they can essentially copy and paste into their article if they want, or use it verbatim when reading from something. Let's see. Making it easy for you. So here's how we make it easy. With your membership with the Wedding Chamber, make sure to have the weddingchamber.vegas go to your safe list, right? Make sure to check our emails. Get involved. The more involved you are, the more I'll hear about you for opportunities, the more opportunities may come your way when I'll bring an opportunity to the board member or some idea that we're thinking of pitching. If the board members know about you more, right? Or if you're getting more involved with these things, we'll have more opportunities to know about you, to get media for you. And then respond to the inquiries. That's the biggest thing I can say is respond, respond, respond. The other thing, you have your contact info on your website. Where you have that, I would put media contact. So on the Wedding Chamber site, they have media contact, they have my email. Even if it's you, the owner, right? Put that on there, or create a media at prpluslv.com. Put whatever it is, create that contact info on your website, because that lets somebody know if they find your website and they're perusing it, it's making it easier for them and they know you're open to press that way. And then similar to getting involved with the LVZ, the Wedding Chamber network. Networking is huge. It's more opportunities for people to know about you. When one person might be talking to a media person, they might say, hey, I'm doing this. I had a fellow publicist from a competing firm reach out to me the other day because a media person reached out to her for something. It didn't fit with her clients, but she knew one of my clients that it did fit with. So she gave me that opportunity, but in doing so, she's also able to tell that media person that she's friends with, like, hey, I helped you. Hey, Amy Stevens at PR Plus can help you with this. So she's still helping them even though her clients weren't a fit. And then the other, which I think is so cool, is Two Bright Lights, that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It is it's an online media source where photographers, I think, can join for free, venues, officiants. It's just a select cost, and you see all these media opportunities that they have. It's geared towards weddings and babies, I think. But you'll see all these wedding opportunities and you just submit to it. So it's something where you can go onto it each week and look and see what there is and submit your couples. And then that's it. So I am here's my contact info if any of you guys want to reach out. And I'm going to stop sharing and we'll answer some questions.
Great. All right, everybody. Once again, let's thank Amy. Put those hands up so she sees you clapping, because this is virtual clapping now. That's how we do it. I did see some questions. I know I posted a question, Amy. One of the questions I had was, it seems like the media wants to come in and interview businesses that are struggling right now during the pandemic. We know, like, chapels seem to be getting better press than some of the support companies. So a support company like a DJ, or a support company like a photo booth. What do you recommend? How do you recommend we spin that when they're asking us, like, how's it affected your business? They're kind of looking for the negative.
Right. So they're looking for the negative, but also they want, I think, which this is something I didn't have in there. So one is always ask, if a media reaches out to you directly, what can you tell me some more about the angle of your story? That is huge, because then you'll know. And you're always also, as being a member, you can email me and say, like, hey, this person reached out. I'm not sure what to ask them or what it is. Can you feel them out for me? And I would be happy to do that for you. But find out what their angle is, because a lot of times they don't want to take a negative story. Unless it's Darcy Spears reaching out to you, I wouldn't worry, right? We don't want an investigative reporter, but
No.
they're shining a light because it's affected all of our businesses, right? It has infected it too. But this is what you say is, you know what? As a DJ, it's been so hard for me. But what we're using, we've been infected. Why can't I talk right now? We've been affected greatly by COVID. We've had to apply for the PPP loans and all of that stuff. But honestly, we've been able to use this time. We've developed safety protocols to where we are still able to work. I'm happy to send those to you to see. We're doing a lot more micro weddings. We've also used this as an opportunity to branch out to other people and offer our DJ services, which we're partnering with right now, right? So I know you've started partnering with different venues and everything like that. And you're like, we're partnering with them right now during the pandemic. It's offered us that opportunity to reach out and expand. And hopefully this is something that'll continue down the line. So always find a way to spin it into the positive. And right now there's no way somebody's going to talk to you and not ask about the pandemic. It's just the way of the world right now. So address it, but don't let that be your sole focus. And try, when you're talking to them as well, avoid negative words. So that's a huge thing, is think of how can I phrase this to where it's going to sound more positive. Yeah, we have been hurt, but we're making up for it in these ways, right? And always focus on what your end goal is and what you want to get across.
Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Welcome.
Who else? Who has a question for Amy? Nobody? Wow. Amy, real quickly, talk to me about podcasts. There are a lot of people right now. Everybody seems like everybody with a microphone is doing a podcast. Does it matter, if you're asked to be on somebody's podcast, even if they just have a small audience? What do you recommend?
I mean, I think if you have the time, do it. One, it's really good practice, right? So you're getting an opportunity to practice speaking with the media in that regard is really good. You never know who's going to find it and hear from it. And you're right. I think I've heard about 5 or 6 different wedding podcasts pop up in the past year, but the more we talk about it and the more we get our word out, the more it's going to help. And I've been listening to an interview right now with Brene Brown, her podcast Unlocking Us, right? And she's interviewing Tim Ferriss and Dax Shepard, who are 2 of the biggest podcasters, right? Yeah. So they might interview you even though you have a podcast, but you can interview them as well. And again, it's thinking of that bigger goal of promoting wedding tourism in Las Vegas, promoting you as a wedding expert. So even if they have a small audience, you still have been featured on a podcast. You've been featured on this podcast, something you can mention. So I don't believe the adage that all press is good press. I think negative press is negative press and not good. Mm-hmm. But the more we can get our names out there, I think is better for us. And we have like some TV shows here even that have really small audiences. But I like those for my clients because it gives them that practice of being on TV, even if it's a smaller audience, right? So so always look at it that way, I would say.
Awesome. Good. Laura and Joan have a question. Unmute, guys.
So in the past, we've always sent out press releases to local media for our bridal show, letting them know, anything exciting or different we're doing at that show. But I'd say the big struggle we have is keeping the press list up to date. Like we have this old press list and then we'll send it out and, we get like a huge percent of them bounce back. And it's not like when one of these press people move or their positions replaced, they don't exactly send out an email saying, here's your new contact. So how do you recommend keeping up with a press list, or is there just a service we can send press releases to get them out instead at a reasonable fee instead of like wasting our time sending these emails and having them bounce?
Yeah. So that is one of our constant daily activities as a public relations agency, is keeping our press list up to date. And it's one of our big features, right? Like our press list for us is proprietary. But I would say, as you see somebody write an article about weddings, add them to your list, right? Delete those old ones, add them to your list, the ones that you see on there. Do some research ahead of time. Sometimes it's not about how many people you send it to, but it's about who you're sending it to and who's going to be interested in it. So right now we're working on a pitch for the clerk's office, and it's a national pitch, and we're just pitching it out. Instead of blasting a press release, we're pitching it out individually to folks and then following up with them that way. It's more targeted. I know who they are. I know they like to cover things like this and that sort of thing. So look at it as you see things, update your list. But if not, I would say just do smaller pitches as well. And then also keep in mind timelines. So when I say respond immediately to our queries, because some of them turn around right away, media works, even the newspaper sometimes works 3 weeks out, for the daily paper. Some things they turn around quickly. Other things take a lot longer. Magazines work 5 months out, right? So, which I can't imagine even doing right now during the pandemic. It's hard, but keep those things as mind. So as soon as you have your bridal show date, send that out just for a calendar inclusion in magazines. And then, yeah, there are services. There's Cision or PR Newswire, where if you just want to send something regionally, you can do that. And that's a few $100s versus like a big national. And the other is hire a PR agency like me. You could always do that as well. I know, hey. But those are things. That's what we do on a daily basis. So those are your options.
Good answer. Good answer.
Can you repeat those two websites you mentioned?
Yeah, Cision, CISION, and PR Newswire. And then there's free services as well, but and those are good for like SEO. You can use those to send press releases out. Those will be good for your SEO because they'll get you placed on random websites. But for more targeted media lists where they work on keeping those things updated, I would look at those too.
So Amy, you mentioned hiring PR Plus. Do you guys do like a la carte services if someone wants like a press release sent out, or do you have to have like a monthly relationship or a subscription?
Yeah. So we'll do smaller campaigns where it can be at minimum a 2-month campaign. I would do like a 3-month generally. And then we have ongoing clients as well. We don't send out just press releases. And the reason for that is sending out a press release is only going to get you so far, but it's the follow-up. So as I was saying, following up with those folks to get the stories landed is really big. And then if we're going to send something out, we want to make sure our client is then represented well. So we're going to want to work with them on once we've pitched something, because we want to be able to pitch and follow up for the placement. Once we've pitched it, we want to make sure to prep them for their interview so the interview goes well, to follow up with the media to see if they need any photos or what else we could do, those sorts of things. So for us, we don't just do the press release service.
Cool. Anybody else before we wrap things up? This is your opportunity to get to talk to a real PR person. She's done an outstanding job. Oh my God, the New York Times, it's that a Sunday New York Times. That's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
That's huge. That is huge. It's
and
not,
in booking season, not
absolutely.
in December. Yeah.
And not just any New York Times story, but Sunday New York Times story is that's the pinnacle. That's what you know, people just get the Sunday New York Times delivered to their house, or they just pay for a Sunday New York Times. They don't want to get Monday through Saturday. They just want to get the Sunday one because they know it's, packed with lots of info. So that's a huge coup for us. So thank you, Amy and PR Plus for making it happen. And to the members that were featured It was great. It was awesome. We got to see David Tapper's legs from the Mirage. I actually posted, I congratulated him on the article. I'm like, wow. He goes, yeah, I'm glad I didn't skip leg day. So that's awesome. But yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Great job. Again, Amy, you can reach out to Amy. Seriously, Amy hit the nuggets. Get to know Amy. Get to know her. She wants to know about your business. So you get to know her, she'll get to know you, because sometimes she'll just pick up the phone and she's on a deadline, like she said. And she knows that, you know, Laura and Joan produce a bridal show, and she'll pick up the phone and direct rather than put it out to everybody. Hey, da, 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 da. She'll know. So please, when you see her at the Boneyard or you see her at any of our events, take 3 minutes to get to know her. She's super nice. She's a great person. She's been involved with the chamber since day one, folks. Day one. So yeah, she's so accessible. So thank you again, Amy.
Thank you all. I hope it was helpful.
It was. And then Jason, is there anything to wrap it up? Anything else we need to know before we say goodbye?
Nope, I think you got it.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending your time here. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday. If you did not RSVP for the Neon Boneyard and it looks like it's full, just reach out to us and we'll double check, because like I said earlier, maybe somebody dropped out, but we only are allowed 25 people. And it's going to be a lot nicer weather on Monday than it was this past Monday. So definitely hope you can join us. All right. Have a great... Yeah.
If you're already registered, did it just roll over, or do we have to go back in?
I believe Iris will tell you it's rolled over. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, you're still registered, but if you can't go anymore, let me know.
No, I'm going. I need out of this house.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. I will see you hopefully all on Monday at the Neon Boneyard. Dress warm, okay? Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Amy.
you.
Bye.